Oh, I think this is it, guys.
So how do I...
We're in.
Alright.
We are live from London.
Alright. We have got some questions from you guys. We're just going to wait. I can't see from here. I assume maybe one or two people might be joining. We're going to... Al's there trying to get Ben involved.
Hey, guys.
Yeah? Is Ben there?
No, Ben's not here.
Okay. Well, we'll just... we haven't actually seen him for a long time. So when he joins, we'll just chat to him for a little bit. And then we'll get to your questions. I've got some of your questions here. And I think Stevie will be looking at the questions that come in on the chat on his phone. So yeah, we'll just wait to see if Ben...
Can everyone hear Batty? I mean, they can't give us any...
That's a good point, actually. I'm quite far away. We're doing a little kind of vibe, that's why I'm back here.
Can you turn up the volume on your phone? So we can hear Ben when he comes in.
Presumably we're not just talking to our phone. It is live, is it?
It is live.
Okay. It was all quite sudden. We've never done You've done Insta Live before. I haven't. All of a sudden it's like...
Did
right,
you...
to the phone.
I've sent a request to Ben, so we're just waiting on him.
Okay. I see.
You can't really rehearse for this kind of thing because...
If we're a little bit rusty, guys, we haven't had an audience in about 12 months. Probably longer than that.
We've had confirmation that we can be heard.
Great.
Okay, nice.
That's good. That's good to know.
Okay, cool. I wonder if I can see the chat from here as well. I don't need to though, do I? I don't need to. Got the messages.
Well, it says it's waiting for Ben.
Okay.
Oh no. Unable to join. Oh dear.
Try again. So today we have been in the studio writing new music, and it's work, so we're allowed to be doing this.
We're still being...
Here he is.
There he is.
There he is.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello, mate.
Hello, mate. How you doing?
Cheers.
Good. Nice to see you.
Cheers.
Good to
Cheers.
see you. Are you drinking a morning tea?
Yeah,
Nice.
Bit early for beers for you, I suppose, isn't it?
just a little bit.
I can't really see you, Ben, but I trust you're as good looking as ever. But you're quite far. We're socially distancing.
You two have swapped haircuts.
Yeah. What, me and Batty?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I used to have long hair. Yeah.
I chopped it off and just stuck it on with some Crit stuff.
And then dyed
And
it.
dyed it.
Not
Where
ginger.
are you? Some kind of magical studio?
Yeah, we're in my living room studio in North London.
Can we turn this up a little bit?
Yeah,
No, that's Max.
Oh, it's on the Mac.
That's Max.
So, are you in LA?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I am.
How are things?
Things are good and weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, like for everyone, I think.
Yeah, man.
What's the situation at the moment? Are you in a lockdown or what's going on?
I mean, we're not in a lockdown like London is, but it's sort of, you know, we're on our sort of California's highest alert level, so there's not very much that's open.
Yeah.
So,
Are you allowed to see your friends?
I mean, I've been being quite cautious about all of it, to be honest. Because quite a careful human being, but I think there's like a rule of sort of no public gatherings and rules of six and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But it was funny because I was reading the other day about the alert level sort of going up to purple in LA County or whatever, and I was like, and I was reading the changes. I was like, well, that's not going to affect anything that I'm doing.
Oh, because you're already doing it.
That's what I'm already doing it. So
Are you allowed?
Be cautious.
Are you allowed to work?
yeah. I haven't had much opportunity this year because there's not that much being made. But I was shooting a new show for Netflix last year, and we had to do some pickup days, some reshoot days, which we did in Canada. So I had to fly to Canada and do 14 days in a hotel room
Oh, wow.
of isolation there.
And then is it like really different on set?
It is a bit strange. You feel a bit like a leper because obviously when you're actually shooting, you're not wearing a mask or anything like that between action and cut, but everyone has to stay a certain distance from you and people are tiered. So the camera crew who are sort of closest to you and the director, they'll have a sort of special red badge, but they have to be in like full, hazmat suit and N95 masks and all that stuff. And then if somebody needs to come in and, because obviously all the different departments have their own, specific jobs. So for example, relighting a candle has to be done by someone in the props department who are maybe not don't have a red badge. And so if they want to come in and relight a candle, you literally have to leave the set.
Wow.
So yeah, it's a funny rules and regulations, which kind of takes some of the, it takes some of the sort of organic feel out of shooting.
Ban on kissing scenes, I imagine.
Yeah, I'm not sure how that works. I know some people. I have one friend who's shooting a rom-com and stuff, and another person shoots it. Another very close friend is shooting a drama where they definitely have sort of intimate scenes like that. But I think they sort of have to sign special waivers and have special conversations with special COVID officers and things like that.
What's the
It's all change. How does it? What about for you guys? Are you able to sort of rehearse and play and record and?
Wait, first, what's the show? I don't think you said what the show was.
Oh, it's a new fantasy show for Netflix called Shadow and Bone, based on.
Oh, right, yeah. We've got we just quickly saw some questions on that actually.
Which I won't be able to answer, but I'm very
Good.
We won't
I'm
ask them.
excited that people are excited to ask them.
So, yeah, I mean, right now we're in a lockdown, but this lockdown is different to the first lockdown because they basically said that everyone's allowed to work. So, in the music industry, everyone is kind of acting as normal in terms of their rehearsing and doing studio sessions and doing writing sessions, still recording music and still, the whole music industry is continuing. It's just that
Has
we
that
can't
been your focus for the main, doing recording then? Because obviously you can't probably play.
Well, this is actually only the second, even though, despite what Steve said, this is only the second time we've actually met up, basically.
Oh, wow.
Because
Yeah,
we can, but we're all being like, we've got vulnerable members of our family and stuff, so and we want to be responsible as well. So we haven't really, but it's got to the point now where we kind of have to write together. So if we're really careful beforehand, and
stay as far away from each other as
do
possible.
what we can.
Sanitizing
What a
keyboards.
wonderful thing to be able to do, to sit together and make something. It's got.
Yeah.
I mean, it's sort of, this year has been a bit of the death of creativity, a bit, hasn't it? I think.
yeah.
It's definitely death of sort of real life collaboration. Anyway, I mean.
Yeah. Have you guys felt more or less creative in this time? Because I remember speaking to some musician friends of mine near the beginning of the year and saying no one's writing any song. No one wants to write any songs because it's just not. You would have thought all this sort of free time and interesting time for humanity, and yet people are sort of not feeling it. So has that been the case for you guys?
I think everyone is different. Like some people are. We've always been a band that have built a lot of momentum through playing live and all the rest of it. So it's been quite difficult adjusting and like adapting. But I guess like Bassie's been working on his solo stuff, so he can do that like here. And me and Al have been continuing to do this collaborations project which we've done recently. So we have been doing sessions with a guy called Henry Green, who's based in Malmesbury, which is a lovely part of the world, in the Cotswolds. So we've been there a couple of times this year, which has been really nice to get out of London.
Say the name again. That's the most British sounding place I've ever heard of. Malmesbury.
Yeah.
Malmesbury.
Is it Malmesbury or is it Malmesbury?
Either way, it sounds like they make cricket bats.
Yeah. Well, it's in the Cotswolds. It's in Oxfordshire.
I thought it's Chippenham, wasn't it? Where it is?
No.
Oh. No, he said
Yeah.
Chippenham because when I was thinking
Malmesbury.
Definitely Malmesbury. And that's been really lovely because because obviously we haven't been able to travel anywhere at all. So just getting out of London and doing that was really nice. Have you? So apart from going to Canada, have you sort of been anywhere, or have you maybe
no,
been...
I came back to the UK to see my family.
Oh yeah.
But that again, very tricky situation because again, I had to isolate by myself again in order to be able to just sort of socially distance see them. But I wasn't going to let it go a year without seeing my family. So
Yeah.
Did you isolate on this side when you first came in then?
yeah.
Did you?
For 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So I had to do that because my family were in Guernsey in the Channel Islands, which I don't know if you've seen in the press, but it's one of the only areas of the world currently. Well, I don't know if that's right, but it has from the beginning been one of the only areas that was COVID-free because they dealt with it pretty smartly from the beginning. So, like, along with New Zealand and a couple of other places, there was just no coronavirus there, and everyone that was going in had to, isolate for 2 weeks. So I did that, and then whilst everyone else in London was, in lockdown, or in the UK was in lockdown, everything was back to normal in Guernsey. Like, clubs were open, bars were open, restaurants. So that was like a parallel universe. It was extraordinary.
It was sort of interesting to me at the beginning of this all. I thought, this is terrible and strange, but at least it's sort of one of the first like it's sort of the same for everyone, no matter where you are in the world, no matter what job you do, no matter how wealthy you are. This is a very sort of interesting time, and to see the kind of movements that sprung up out of this time in terms of unifying, I thought might be a sort of really interesting moment for humankind. But it is, like you say, it's kind of interesting because it's been handled so differently in different places.
Well, I guess social media is bigger than it's ever been, potentially, because everyone's has to feel like they're connecting via the internet because they can't face to face. So then, when you read something in the news, it's a lot more impactful probably than it would be when you're going about your day-to-day life.
Because you've placed so much faith in that medium of receiving, information. Yeah.
But I think hopefully next year there'll be kind of a sense of euphoria amongst people again, and hopefully
it does seem like people feel like we're turning a bit of the corner of optimism.
I mean, I just realised I didn't really answer that question. As Stevie said, I've been working here, and I'm one of those people that hasn't. I've obviously noticed it and felt, the negative effects of it because of seeing how it affects people around me. But personally, it hasn't affected my days that much because I'm usually just a hermit here anyway, just sort of tapping away. But even though, on the other side, after a while, even though I've had more time to work, I would say it definitely has affected the creative process because you realise how much you rely on sort of human interaction.
It's affected your creative libido.
Creative libido is definitely affected. Yeah, needs some
nourishment
remedy for that. Yeah, but I mean, there's definitely some interest. You could look at some aspects of it in a positive light. Obviously, it's negative throughout, but for creative work, you could take away some positives. But generally, even if you're on your own, having loads of time to do stuff because you don't have distractions, you still like, humans need interaction and sparking ideas between you, and you need inspiration from others. And even if it's just like talking to your mates for a couple of days, you it can change your mood and then, I don't know, move you into that space. So at the beginning, I was like, I'm quite enjoying this, just on my own, no pressure, can write. But I think the quality of the writing dipped quite a lot.
I read I don't know what I'm saying. I read a quote the other day that said something, and I can't remember who had said it, but it was something like, the second biggest surprise of my life was aging. The first biggest was realizing my deep and insatiable need for human connections.
Yeah.
I just thought that was so interesting.
Yeah.
Those things being the most important things in life. I don't know. I think we've all done a bit of prioritizing soul searching this year.
Yeah.
Definitely, yeah.
Well, it certainly makes you realise what you took for granted beforehand.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's for sure.
yeah. Your family and friends, and
Yeah.
it's crazy, isn't it?
So how much is your life sort of changed on a day-to-day basis, and how have you tried to adapt?
Well, I've been very used to, over the last 15, 20 years, of spending at least half of the year, at least, not at home.
Mhm.
You know, I've kind of relied on this job to satisfy me creatively, but also to take me off on adventures.
Mhm.
You know, I've been very used to kind of going, right, you're leaving and you're going to go and live in Budapest now for 6-7 months, and you're leaving in a week, or Bucharest or Canada or New Zealand or wherever it is. And for some reason, I'm always the guy who's cast right in the last minute. So, you know, I always read about these people who say, yeah, well, I did 2 years of training in the gym, and then I did a year of capoeira and a year of mandolin training, and then we did some rehearsals for 6 months, and then we started shooting. And I'm like, I got cast 9 days before we started.
Wow.
So capoeira for me.
Got to do some intense training in those 9 days.
I just have to do it, you know, at the same time, just sort of bouncing around on horses and flailing swords around and learning how to shoot machine guns, and you know, but just sort of like between 5 and 5:15, you know, just in the morning.
Yeah.
Ben, I think we got a lot of questions. Well, we got some questions, but one of the most thought of that was on the YouTube, the premiere last night. Someone.
Oh yeah, how did it go? Tell me about it.
It was great. This is a new thing over lockdown as well. Like this whole YouTube premiere thing, and it's been really exciting. So you can have a live chat whilst you're watching the video. So there was
like a very intense 4.5 minutes.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it in so long. How did you guys feel watching it? And I always meant to ask you, like, how you felt that watching it, how it married with writing the song.
So lyrically, I mean, this was one of the questions, wasn't it? I think we obviously had an idea of what we wanted the music video to be like, based on the lyrical content of the song. I mean, Batty, can you explain what the song?
Yeah.
Put you on the spot there.
Yeah. But
He just writes a load of indecipherable, ambiguous nonsense and hopes people think it's profound.
Yeah.
I mean, I can answer that, but it's weird that you're asking me in front of. I would have thought it'd be a. I think someone did ask.
Someone did ask.
Okay. It's so Soteria is like it's a goddess of forgiveness. I think Greek mythology, and it's quite a while ago actually we wrote this song, so I had to like think about it just now before we came on, remind myself what it was actually about. But it was, you go through life thinking, well, hopefully you do, thinking you're a good person and you have good thoughts and you do good things, but if you make a wrong choice and you end up doing a bad deed, does that define you as a character? Like, how far can you go before you are a bad person? And I think at the time I was watching The Sopranos at the same time, and I was kind of imagining myself as Tony Soprano, who's like, he has his own honor code, and day to day he does a lot of bad deeds, but he sees himself as like, because it's within his honor code, he sees himself as a good person, and it's kind of like, is it all relative? And then on the other side, someone like, I guess me, it's not all autobiographical at all, but like say someone like me or one of us, if we're thinking in our day-to-day life, hopefully we're doing good deeds, but occasionally we'll do something bad that's hurt someone, and something that we regret. Like, where's the line? When do you objectively become a good or a bad person? And at the same, and I think while I was watching The Sopranos, I also went to Bhutan, the ex-girlfriend of mine, which was an incredible experience, but like seriously kind of spiritual place where there's a lot of meditation and stuff, and I really, those kind of questions were at the forefront of my mind at the time, I guess. And it was just, you know, one of those songs that we were working on at the time, so the lyrics kind of reflected that headspace. Kind of, you know, if I've hurt people along the way, will I be forgiven? Or, you know, I mean, it's a bit existential and it's a bit vague.
Which is what music is usually about, existentialism and...
Yeah, I mean, that was very vague.
I have this theory that, or not really theory, but something that I sort of quite often say, which is if a song or a film or a piece of art isn't on some level about what are we doing here,
yeah,
I mean, I think if you scratch away the surface layers of any piece of art, eventually and essentially it will be about what are we doing here. Mm-hmm. It's kind of interesting you say about that balance of that sort of grey area of human morality, though, because obviously I've spent like the last 5 years really, or 6 years, playing characters who potentially on the surface are readable as villains or untrustworthy, or and so your job in those situations is ultimately to find what drives that person and to, you know, sort of peel away to find their motivations for acting in that way, because people aren't like you just said, with I don't think people are born bad.
Mm-hmm.
No baby is evil, and so it's something that you learn and something that comes about because of certain motivations. And so to try to justify your, you know, I think people either know they're doing something wrong, you know, which is why we have feelings like guilt and shame that kick in, or you feel justified in your actions for some other reason. And so finding those grey areas is what's so interesting to me about playing characters who are sort of morally vague or morally grey.
Yeah, I think the directors and makers of the film captured the way, the point where you realised that grey area of that you were becoming like a bad person, and you sort of came away from the job that you were doing.
Oh, in the music video.
Yeah, when you see yourself, when the moment when you're robbing the bank and then there's a child who kind of goes, stick them up with his toy, and then you kind of see yourself.
Well, that was kind of the only two sort of things that I latched onto were obviously looked up Soteria and found like what you said, obviously that goddess of deliverance or forgiveness, but those and then the sort of part in the brief about seeing his younger self, and I thought those two things are really, really interesting together, because you always say to somebody, you say forgive me or deliver me from evil or whatever it is. You say it to someone. So I always, you know, it's one of my things I always write in my script, like, who am I saying this to? Who am I saying this for? And why am I saying this? And so, you know, you think about things like that when you've only got something like this, which doesn't really have very many lines or anything. How can I ground it more specifically? And I was, when I read the lyrics of your song, it's so interesting when it stops being yours and starts being mine if I'm the one listening to it.
Yeah.
I think, like, to answer your initial question about how the music video, what it felt like watching it from us writing the song, I guess we wanted something where we spoke to the directors, and we were actually quite involved with coming up with some of the ideas for this, whereas often with videos we kind of let the director go and take it in whatever they want, whichever way they want to. But with this situation, the idea of like your younger self seeing you and that kind of feeling of like, oh my God, have I done everything that I wanted to achieve, or have I become the person that this person would be proud of? And that
was the moment for me that I think I was talking about was that moment where he sees him and thinks, if I could, what's rushing through my head in that moment is, what if I could go back, what would I tell this kid to change? What actually, more specifically, those inner demons of mine, that voice that I listened to along the way, which parts of that would I tell him not to listen to? That was how I sort of read your lyrics to that song.
Nice.
Nice,
and a fab job you did.
And then I remember thinking, like, well, I remember we were like, we really need someone, we really need a great actor to do this. And we'd obviously, I think like the year before we'd met you.
Yeah.
We met in like 2016. Did I? Yeah, I just met you at one of your gigs, didn't I?
Yeah, it was at our show in West Hollywood.
Yeah. And I just remember there wasn't that many people in the room at the beginning, and then people were just sort of filing in, but I was just sort of standing at the front, just like allowing this music to just like carry me off. And yeah, I was a bit enchanted.
Did you just randomly walk in, as in you didn't know what it was going to be or anything?
Yeah, somebody said, "Oh, there's some music happening in there," and I just thought, I'm really in the mood for some music. Yeah, but I mean, I'm never not, but
Nice.
But it was like siren song, because your music is so cinematic and yeah, it's like waves, like ocean waves a lot of the time, I feel, and I just remember just forgetting to breathe a bit, I think.
Oh wow, thank you.
Have you ever played Odysseus, Ben?
Sorry?
Have you ever played Odysseus?
No, I did see. Have you guys heard of the Broadway musical at the moment, the Hadestown?
I've heard of it.
It was on in London. It's absolutely brilliant. It's Persephone and Orpheus, not Odysseus. It's Orpheus. Okay, so that's completely wrong, but it's brilliant. Anyway. And the music's amazing.
Okay, nice.
So yeah, I think after the show, like, it was that whole experience in LA that week was crazy. At the time, I think we were taking it in our stride a little bit, but we now look back, and particularly in lockdown, you kind of look back at moments and you're like, what an amazing week that was. Like,
yeah,
we
it
played
was just serendipitous, wasn't it? Because I saw the gig and we started chatting afterwards and had some beers and stuff, and then you came back through town. I think like a week later, you'd gone off to play some other stuff, Austin or somewhere.
Oh
I
yeah,
think we went
and
to
then
the
you came back and we ate pancakes and then you talked about and then eventually talked about doing that video, which is just like serendipitous. It was it's cool.
Yeah. Ben, you off? Should we look at some questions?
Yeah. We are basically, loads of people were asking questions on the YouTube yesterday on the chat. So then we said we'll do an Instagram live, and then on our stories we've said like if anyone's got any questions. So should we read?
And so we got some that are messages that came through earlier. And Stevie, if you could look at the ones.
Yeah. What's coming through?
Yeah. And
someone definitely asked if it was you riding the motorcycle.
Yes.
Or whether you had a stuntman.
Just me.
Did you do the wheelie as well then?
No, I didn't do any of it.
Oh, did you not? I thought you did.
I was practicing my acting just now.
Very, very good. You even convinced me, even though I knew that it was a stuntman. I was like, oh, I thought it was a stuntman.
You know what? I'll give a, because that answer was so boring, I'll give a part B, which is when I was a kid, like 5 or 6, I was obsessed with motorbikes, and I had a scrapbook, a blue page scrapbook filled with pictures of motorbikes. Absolutely obsessed with them, and I've still never learned to ride one.
Have you still got the scrapbook?
I don't think so.
No.
It was 53 years ago. So.
I remember. I think I messaged you and I was like, "Oh, there's going to be a motorbike scene in this. Like, are you a good motorcyclist?" And then you were like, "Oh, I'll get my stuntman to do it." And I was like, "Okay, yeah, nice."
Well, I didn't. No, it was definitely. It was just.
Ben's own stuntman. I didn't realise that.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't. It definitely wasn't.
Oh, it wasn't your stuntman. It was someone else.
No, I think it was just someone you guys.
Oh, I completely got that wrong.
Some guy who could ride a bike.
It would have been the guys at Cape Films then, wouldn't it? Probably.
Yeah.
That would have sorted it if it wasn't Ben's own.
Yeah. Sorry, yeah. I mean, I guess that.
Shout out to Cape Films.
Do you have a stuntman?
I do. His name is
professional Ben Barnes.
His name's Jefferson Cox, and he's brilliant. And he was training me a lot and did a lot of my like fight training and everything during the Punisher with me. And then so we did both seasons of that together. And yeah, you're always calling me up, going, "You going to take any jobs with any action at all?" Or I was like, "Well, no, I'm actually going to do a BBC drama about a love affair with an older lady." He was like, "Right, anything that for me?" I'm not really.
Have you seen Once Upon a Time in Hollywood?
I haven't yet.
Because it's all about his relationship with his stuntman.
Oh, brilliant! Yeah.
Brad Pitt is the stuntman.
Oh, sorry. Yes, I have. Of course, I've seen it. Yeah.
I just wanted to ask if you have a similar relationship.
Well, obviously not forged over quite as long a time, but yeah, I did text him the minute I came out of that film, though.
Oh, did you? Nice.
Yeah, I texted him.
Texted Brad Pitt.
I didn't text Brad Pitt. But oh god, is he brilliant in that film?
Mm-hmm.
And every film, he's just brilliant.
Mm-hmm. Right, should we ask some questions?
Start with another quite a few questions for you here, Ben. We're going to try, hang on. I need to find the.
Someone's just asked, Ben, will you release an album?
Oh,
putting you on the spot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this is spawned out of me just wanting to put something sort of joyful into the world, and sort of started to be a bit braver since I got myself my piano and stuff, and just putting covers, some covers and stuff on Instagram. And I sort of started to think to myself, it'd be so great because I think when you're doing acting as well, it's always someone else's script or someone else's direction, and I have harbored dreams of just making something completely myself and offering it up into the world. So it's definitely something that I am gently working on.
I can confirm that Ben has a beautiful voice. I saw an Instagram video of his earlier today. It's beautiful.
That's official. That's official now.
It's really.
That's
I'll take the CV, man.
Seb Batty, lead singer of Matt Wolf. So that's official now. No take backsies.
No, but I mean, it's just nice when, because very often, you have someone who's excellent in one field, and then sometimes you're slightly worried, or it's a mate of yours, you're like slightly worried. Oh, am I going to like it? Is it going to be good? And then it's excellent. You're like, oh, thank goodness, it's amazing.
Yeah, I know. I definitely know that feeling.
Yeah.
People often say though, even when friends of mine sort of see that, you don't look like you should be able to sing. I don't know what that means.
Why?
Yeah.
Did you grow up like singing as well as acting?
Actually, first music, singing first. I was sort of doing in choirs and in musicals and things like that, and I used to do Sinatra tribute concerts at school.
Oh wow!
There's I think my dad's got a DVD of me from about age 15 singing with a big band, singing Sinatra.
Oh, yes.
Not brilliant.
Oh, well, that should be released.
No.
Yes.
Because I've seen it. So no. But yeah, it's always, and then I had some sort of dalliances with some pop music in my late teens, which the less said about is the better. But yeah, I've done quite a lot of music in my films. Like I did a film called Jackie and Ryan where I played a street busker, sung some sort of like old, Southern folk songs and stuff, which was just my favorite thing ever. And then I did a film called Killing Bono where I played a failed Irish 80s rock star. So I've done quite a lot of music in my films, but as I say, what I'd like to work towards is doing something that's just from me.
Yeah.
Nice. Sweet.
Who's got the next question?
Okay, Stevie, you look at the same time. We'll see who comes up with. Okay, well, Alora Rickson says, any favourite moments while shooting the video? So Al and I weren't there. Stevie and you, Ben, were there. Obviously, either of you got a favourite?
Well, I was only there for the bank robbing scenes. I wasn't there.
Steve was on crowd control.
I tell you what, none of you were there for. None of you were there for the scene that we shot in the trailer, which we were supposed to be able to shoot in some trailer park somewhere, but we couldn't get there because one of the cars broke down or something. So we ended up shooting all the scenes in the trailer on the side of the motorway.
Wow.
No way.
A freeway for you Americans watching. And it was a broken down, and I had to catch a flight. And so we were sort of trying to decide what to do. And we eventually, I was just like, look, we're gonna have to do the show right here. And we filmed it on the side of the motorway. We're just like, well, let's just shoot it here then.
Just in the back of the van that you were driving in?
We were in a we was shot in that trailer that was supposed to be in a trailer, but we were supposed to be, you know, parked off somewhere, but we just did it on the side of the motorway.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
I didn't know that either.
Yeah, I think my two favourite. Yeah, I sort of quite enjoyed that because it was a time crunch and it felt very like pressured in a kind of interesting way. But the entrance to the bank, and I remember I at the time I had a specific reference in my head of I remembered. I think it was one of the bank robberies in Heat, where one of the characters just hops up on the on the counter and is just sort of kicking stuff, and I was like, oh, it'd be cool to do it, to have it be a bit like that. Can I just jump up on this counter? And the director was like, no, we could try it, and I thought it was really cool, that bit.
Is that Tom Sizemore that does that?
It might be. I can't remember. It might not even be Heat I'm thinking about, to be honest.
Have you done it? It wasn't Heat. It wasn't Heat. I'm just trying to think if it was which of the guys it was. I love that film. I love it.
I've seen it so many times, and yet can't remember if that's what I was referencing. But the fact that the director was like, yeah, try it, and it was you know, it's a sort of moment. Somebody reached for a phone, and I kicked it out the way, one of those old phones, and I was like, yeah, that was a cool moment, I think.
Have you done many music videos before?
No, I don't know. I think I'm going to embarrass myself now, but I think this is the only one.
Great. Well,
somebody down here will type, no, it wasn't. You did one. I'll tell you what. I did do one when I was very young, and I'm cut out. I was cut out of it. I did one for the Kooks.
Oh wow!
For one of their favourite songs of mine called "The Sofa Song," and I got to know them really well on that day, and I've met up with them a few times since, because I love their music. I went to see them actually in New York when I was filming The Punisher. I went to watch them play and hang out with them. There's one shot of me in the video for the Sofa Song, but it's a still. But the original idea was to have the band playing, and then this whole sort of love story sort of interwoven through it. But we shot it all, and then didn't use it.
Thanks.
Yeah.
So those are the only two, and Neil's is the only one I'm actually in.
Right. Wow.
Did you meet the Kooks? Were they there?
Yeah, he said he hung out with them.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So we got.
No, it's actually very similar to you guys. It's just, you know, we've just sort of kept in touch through the years and just checked
whenever they're in town.
It's really nice, yeah.
I mean, we don't. Yeah, next music video will probably be at your door. Feel free to say no. You need to broaden your.
You told us last night that you just found out that your housemate is a fan of ours. Has he seen the video now? She seen the video now?
I don't know if yeah, probably. I probably made him watch it when we made it. But no, I was just saying that I was going to come on and chat to you guys about this and telling you about your video release woes, and he was like, well, that's stupid. They're brilliant. They're amazing. They're seriously amazing. So yeah, big fan.
Love that.
Yeah.
So we got a question from Mentally Married to Loki.
Oh yeah.
I think this is aimed at us.
This will be good.
It is good. I can confirm it is good, and I don't know how the answer's going to be yet, so I'm just rolling with it. But what inspired you? No, that's the wrong one. Sorry. It was the same person though. Would you ever consider writing an emotional song about a dog or any other animal?
Wow.
And the answer, if I'm going to answer it, would be yes, absolutely.
Ben, would you ever write a song about a dog?
No.
My caveat would be though that it would
because Sebastian and the band Matt Wolf would already have done it.
Well, you could beat us to it then,
and it would look like I was plagiarising.
The thing is, what I'd say is you would have to do it so you wouldn't want to make it obvious that you're writing about the dog. You have to like
Make it seem like an ex-girlfriend.
yeah, or like seem like some other kind of love.
You have to be
But
very
really,
careful with that.
deep down, you're talking about your dog, and the joke's on everyone else because they think it's some really depressing song about. You find a way of flipping it, so you know
what
the
I'm
feeling
thinking
inside,
about?
but no one else actually knows.
The Labyrinth song, Jealous.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
I ended up I was covering that the other day on Instagram, and then I was sort of reading about it because I just assumed it was a sort of romantic ex-girlfriend song is what it feels like. But I was reading that actually his inspiration for it was about his dad leaving when he was young and being jealous of that time not spent together. But then when he saw working with the producers on the song, they kind of were trying to make it a bit more universal, so it sounds a bit more romantic and like it might be about a woman. But I think that stuff is so interesting.
Yeah.
Funnily enough, I watched an X Factor. It was like the most emotional moments on the X Factor, like YouTube video. I think me and my girlfriend were watching it, and don't ask me why. Don't ask me why. But this song came up, Jealous, and the guy said that he was singing it in such a way about his friend who had just passed away. So he was kind of putting a new meaning on it, and Simon Cowell ended up crying.
Wow. Yeah. So context is everything, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it gives it certain things, which is why when you're acting and stuff, you want to feel, even if it's nothing to do with the script, you want to have something really specific in your head because people feel that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Somebody wrote, I daren't look down at these comments, but somebody wrote, Jealous by Labyrinth is actually about a spoodle.
It was about a dog.
Yeah.
Yes. That's a really good comment.
Nice. Nice. Brilliant.
We've come full circle. Brilliant.
Do you have any? Is it easy to see the question?
I'm seeing the questions here. Simon Cowell crying is featuring, to be honest. My mum just said hello. That's nice. She's
Hi,
watching.
Lynn.
Hi, Mum.
Oh, your mum. Oh, I thought someone was just there.
I can't. Do you,
Hi,
have,
Lynn.
do you have any other screenshots?
There's
There's no one asking questions.
I
Right
have got actually.
Someone said that your hair looks good, Ben.
Thank you.
So I've actually got a message from.
I did actually
Al
cut
May.
it myself.
You did?
Yeah, I did it at about 3 o'clock in the morning.
Nice. Lockdown cut.
Not sure
Our friend Foxy, who Alan and I actually stayed with in LA.
Oh, Tom Fox Davies?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's messaged asking, did you know? And I don't know if he's winding us up here or not because I don't know this. Did you know that Ben nearly rep UK in Eurovision? Is this true?
I can neither confirm nor deny that.
That means it's true.
Wow. Brilliant.
I tell you what, whether
Any
it's true or
story you can
not,
share?
whether it's true or not, it's bloody embarrassing, isn't it?
No,
I'm not sorry.
no,
I'm not sorry.
I think.
Oh no, it's only embarrassing if it is true. I've given away the answer there, haven't I?
Look at Daddy or whatever his name is. Is it Icelandic guy? Daddy.
Wait,
Is
so
it Icelandic?
what's the story here?
The
Were you
story was
young?
I was in a pop band for about 2 weeks when I was 19 or so, and the only thing we did was we had one song and then they entered it for the Eurovision to represent the UK, but we didn't win. So thankfully, and the day after we performed the song, I quit because I was too embarrassed.
Mortified. Were there dance moves?
Yeah.
Is there footage?
Do you remember the dance moves?
There are dance moves. There is footage, and
There is footage.
Oh my god, is it on
anyone
YouTube?
can go and look it up, so long as I don't have to be there or look it up. Do whatever you want.
I'm gonna search on the internet Ben Barnes boy band after this.
Well, you're gonna have a lovely time.
Was this before you'd done like Prince Caspian and everything?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Years.
Were you like how old were you at that point? Or I guess you don't want to.
When I did Caspian?
Yeah, was it quite early in your career? Well, I'm guessing it was.
24, 25.
So, had you kind of moved out to LA like just after being in the boy band, or was this all in London?
No. pop band stuff was way earlier. And then I was in London for doing plays and little movies. I did a movie called Stardust. It was a big movie about a small part, and then some other little movies and some plays. Before that, the Narnia stuff came along.
Ricky Gervais, did you meet Ricky Gervais in Stardust?
I didn't meet him on Stardust, but I did meet him at a David Bowie concert.
Oh, wow.
He was sitting next to me. And I spent the entire concert staring at him, loving Bowie so much, because he's his number one fan, obviously. But The Office was on TV at the time.
Oh, wow.
On BBC.
And you were watching David Bowie. I mean, what?
I was trying to do both. It was too much for me.
That's crazy.
It was too much.
That's crazy.
I don't remember what I said, but I think I made some stupid joke about my uni bar. But I made him. All I remember is I made him laugh once, and that was enough for me.
That's great.
You die happy now, Ben. You die happy.
Exactly.
Made Ricky Gervais laugh. Any more good questions there?
No, do you have
Okay,
another
well, we've actually answered quite a lot of them, actually. A lot of them are sort of like, what was it like to work with each other? Obviously, it was wonderful.
Oh, someone's just asked, Ben, what's your favourite current song? And you're not allowed to say Soteria.
My favourite.
What's your favourite current song? Putting you on the spot here.
Yeah, it really is.
Sorry.
What have I been listening to?
Okay, what's an all-time classic?
Yeah, it's funny. I don't know quite how I've got a book. I won't answer that question. I'll answer a different one. I've got a book on my piano, because I can't really read music or anything, so I just have to sort of like figure out chords and then write down G minor. So I got a book where I take songs. It's essentially a really snazzy karaoke book where I just take songs, and I don't know quite how I get to them. I think some of them are just my all-time favorite songs, you know, Donny Hathaway and Stevie Wonder and things like that, which I just naturally gravitate towards that kind of music. But then, like, I tend to find artists who have a bit of that feel. Mm-hmm. Apple Music obviously just suggests to me people like Alan Stone and people like that who are kind of very like soulful. And so I just find all these songs, and it's peppered with, the book is peppered with some Christmas songs, and I tell you what I'm listening to. I was Daniel Caesar.
Oh yeah.
A lot of his songs at the moment I've had on repeat this year. I don't know.
There's a little Christmas song cover this year, this festive season.
I usually do one. I've done one every year for the last 5, so yeah, I'm gonna have to find one. But I was really pleased with last year, so I don't know. I'm a bit worried.
What did you do last year?
5. I did the Nat King Cole Christmas song.
Nice.
Got the best one.
Nice.
So I've peaked. What are you guys gonna do? Why don't you do a Christmas song?
Well,
I challenge you to
Interesting you say that.
to release an Instagram Christmas song.
I've made one actually, but
Have you?
it's not amount. So I have a publishing deal separately where I write 10 songs in the year for Downtown Publishing, and the last one they asked for was so I did a cover of Deck the Halls.
Oh, cool.
So I don't think it'll be a Mount Wolf release, but it'll be out there. Hopefully you'll see it on like an advert or a trailer or something.
I offered to play Jingle Bells in it, but you wouldn't let me.
It's just not,
Did you offer to play it on some Jingle Bells?
Yeah.
Well, he says he offered. He came here today and heard it for the first time. After it's
Percussionist.
mastered.
I know what this needs.
Amber 98
More
asks,
cowbell.
if you could pick 3 countries or states or cities to perform, which 3 would it be? Ben Barnes, go.
Oh,
And we'll answer afterwards, I think. Will we?
London.
Yep.
Sorry?
London.
Okay.
Maybe Sydney.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Only because I was supposed to do a show at the Royal Opera House about
Oh.
20 years ago,
Oh.
a musical, and then it never happened. So I've all been in my bonnet about it. And yeah, maybe LA somewhere so I could be outside.
Nice.
Mm.
You guys, do you want to answer?
There's something
Or like Red
there's a
Rocks
venue
or
called
something
Red
like that.
Rocks. Sorry?
I just said, or like Red Rocks or something like that would be cool too.
Yeah, where is Red Rocks?
I don't know if it's. I don't think it's in. I always listen to the. I've got a few live albums of people from Red Rocks, but I'm not exactly sure where it is actually.
No, I don't know either. I've seen quite a few live, sort of, like a lot of live footage from Red
A lot of
Rocks.
that stuff is in Arizona and Utah and places like that, so I'm not exactly sure where the.
I'm sure someone will tell us in the comments.
Yeah, I mean, I think like, I remember I was a big Incubus fan when I was a kid, and I remember they did like a live performance there, and then I remember as a kid thinking, "Wow, that looks really cool."
Yeah,
so I've always wanted to play there. I don't know where it is.
Which is super cool.
Sorry.
Mumford and Sons did one there, which was really cool.
Oh.
Oh, right,
Got a
nice.
video of it.
I
I
think
think it
you
may
two
be
did
in
quite
Colorado.
a
Maybe
big
it's in Colorado.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I'd love to play a gig in like a Roman amphitheatre,
Oh,
in
yeah.
Italy or something like that.
That'd be sick.
Oof. That'd be cool. I think.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
Oh,
I think
What you said.
I think during lockdown with my dad, I was watching some Pink Floyd footage playing at like an amphitheatre in Italy somewhere. Yeah, I think
After a bottle of wine,
when yeah,
sit with your dad.
I think
watching Pink Floyd.
when you're in a band, you always love the idea of just playing in front of like a stadium or something, like loads and loads of people. Like I guess the Pyramid Stage, the Glastonbury or something like that.
Yeah.
yeah. Cool.
But
An amphitheatre is where it's at. We got a question here from Takaya Tachenko. I'm sorry, I hope
Hi,
I pronounced that right. Best inspiration you can find in the UK.
what, as in a place?
I guess so. I mean, inspiration-wise, books. I mean, are the obvious answers. Your life. Always try and look in your own life first, and then if that fails, look at books, movies. I mean,
We've always got a lot of inspiration from like landscapes and like the sea and open spaces and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think when we wrote Etherlight, for instance, we would often go to a remote area of the UK and kind of the countryside, and sort of just play in a studio for a while. And it's just nice to get out of London to do that. So yeah, I guess like openness.
shout out to Ross at Melton Mowbray.
Yeah.
If you're watching, Ross.
Probably not, but
Yeah.
we love you, Ross.
might be.
What's Ben's and Mount Wolf's favourite foods?
Oh,
Ben, you go first if you're ready.
Probably Indian food.
Yeah. Have you ever had a dishoom?
Yes.
oh
Yeah.
I love to
Mm.
stream.
Stew and a cold beer. It's just that's difficult.
You guys, what's your favourite food?
If I was to pick one, it would be a really good mac and cheese.
Oh wow.
It wouldn't. It's got to be a good one though. It can't be a stodgy one. It's
Yeah.
got to be gloopy, with a gloop.
I'm gonna go.
Hot sauce.
I'm gonna go for a boring one, but Italian food. I think in Italy, I could happily live off Italian food forever.
Yeah, I was going to say,
Pressure.
spaghetti carbonara is hard to beat as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
Nice.
But we do currently have a dishoom on Deliveroo. It's quite near our house, me and my girlfriend. So
Well, it's on the
we
way
think.
now.
Sorry.
It's on the way now.
Not on the way, not on the way now, but
It
Oh,
could be, guys.
it could be. I don't think we have to shoot here, but
Yeah, we do in London.
as in like in this area.
King's Cross is probably the closest.
Okay, but
Um,
it's like up the road, so we've been living off Dishoom.
King's Cross isn't that
takeaways.
This is the kind of content they're tuning in. Yeah, it could be here in,
Anyone
14
still there?
minutes.
We don't know. We could be talking to ourselves. I mean, Al, can you see? Is anyone there?
We can't see the screen.
Or Ben, you tell us
Yeah,
if
there's
no
some,
one's watching.
there's some people watching.
Okay.
For sure, there's some people watching.
Okay. Please invite Ben for a feature in a song next time.
Oh,
Okay. Do you fancy doing some vocals, Ben? At some
Yeah.
point? Nice.
Yes.
Sick.
I always think you guys should do. I've always harbored a dream of. I remember when we were shooting the video, I was saying to Seb, I was saying to Stevie, I was saying, you guys can pay me back by scoring a film at some point, because I just think
Yes.
I think you'd be so brilliant at that.
Mate, definitely.
I'd love to.
I've been doing a lot of scoring this year, actually.
Have you?
Yeah. And we'll all apply our minds to it together, and for sure, yeah. For sure. That's it. When you're saying you couldn't read music, it's not. I wouldn't. It's not a necessity. But when you get into like scoring and stuff, I think that's when I've now recently actually. I've been a musician for a long time, but I never really had a classical background. I learned guitar and stuff. You don't necessarily need to learn to read, but when you're learning scoring, it is. I'm sort of learning quite late in my career to sort of read and write music because of the scoring thing. So because there are certain things like intervals and whatnot that it is useful for that. But for writing songs and stuff, it's not
Not essential.
It can help.
Yeah, I think it's really important to just use your ear a lot of the time.
Yeah.
Because, for instance, like playing the guitar, I often don't know what I'm playing. Like, I'll play in a weird tuning, so I've got no idea like what chord it is that I'm playing, and then you're like, well, that sounds really nice, and then I'm like, good, yeah. What chord is that, Batty? And then we kind of like work it out, and it's like some weird chord. Because if you ever learned guitar, you play like C and G, and like a lot of bands have made incredible songs using a lot of basic chords, but then after a while, you're like, oh, I don't really know what I can do here. So it's quite nice not knowing what you're doing, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, or it's just you find different inversions, and they are actually, it is just a G major, maybe with like a 7th or something, but it's because Stevie's playing on a different tuning, it sounds fresh. But if you were classically trained, very often what happens is a lot of classically trained musicians think, no, that's too simple, we can't do that.
Mm-hmm.
And then they go down to too tangential, and the music isn't very relatable to people. So very often us dullards that don't know much music theory, it plays to our strengths, because we're not trying to be too clever, because we don't know what else is out there. So it's not necessarily a bad thing if you don't read music for writing pop songs or songs in that sort of world.
So
just have to find someone brilliant to orchestrate the strings for you.
Well, yeah. I mean, we have often worked with kind of string quartets and things like that when we played live as well.
Yeah. They're great days in the studio actually when the strings are recording. It's always quite nice to sit in the control booth and watch them do their thing.
So I guess we've been chatting for like nearly an hour now actually. So as kind of like wrapping up thoughts, what have you
What have you taken away from this hour?
What's
your
review? What have you learned?
Summarize this. What kind of things do you hope to be working on next year and have got coming up? I guess if you can talk about them.
Well, no, it's a strange old year, and I'm involved with a TV show, so obviously, hopefully, that's going to come out at some point soon. Don't know when, and then see if we'll go back and make some more, because it's based on some books, which get really exciting as you go through. So that would be cool to see, and then I'm sort of always just interested to balance it out with whatever I'm not working on. So probably just something not, not sort of fantasy and not potentially villainous, and just something, just something to balance, just something to balance it out. So I'm just always, I don't really get excited about the idea of doing something specific until I'm reading it, and it's making me, it's sort of feels like a catalyst for something exciting.
Would you be interested in directing at any point?
I would. I definitely would. And I've written some stuff in the past as well. But I think, like I say, if I'm going to do something that's sort of a project of my own, I might like it to be more music based, maybe.
Okay. Yeah.
Cool. Well, let's do a duet then, as in vocally, but with all of us.
Yeah.
Cool.
That's not a duet anymore if they're involved.
No, so that's
duet. We'll play some music.
I just remembered someone asked, you were talking about books, what's your favourite book? Sorry, I don't remember the name of who asked it, but what's your favourite book, Ben?
You don't remember the name of your favourite book?
No, I'm asking you. The person that asked, I don't remember their name.
I just find it's I did an English degree. It's almost impossible to pick one, I think. Yeah, I find that very difficult.
Yeah, it's like saying your favorite album or favorite film.
I posted some lists before of stuff. Sort of some of my favorite stuff before. But it's very difficult to compare. Like,
bit of a cop-out answer then.
all right,
it's okay.
Ian McEwan Atonement is right up there.
Nice, yeah. Nice. I've only read one Ian McEwan book.
What's your favourite book, Leslie?
Oh, well, I'm on a non-fiction vibe at the moment.
Yeah.
Shantaram for fiction was pretty high.
Oh yeah, Shantaram is wonderful.
I'm reading a lot of Murakami at the moment, but I'm always a bit hesitant to recommend him because the more I read of him, the more he has a lot of sort of problematic male character. Have you ever read any Murakami?
Actually, my friend just gave me she's done some short stories, which my friend just gave me to read,
Yeah, he's such a good writer, but he has a very male-centric view of the world, and some descriptions. I don't know, it's getting a bit weird.
Yeah, well, so long as you acknowledge it, I think that's the main thing.
Maybe. Just makes you a little bit, like, he's an amazing writer, but it does make you feel a bit uncomfortable. Like, I'm not sure, like, what's going through his mind here. Like, I don't know. But it wasn't me answering that, because it's supposed to be Ben answering that question.
Is there a sunny day in LA today? It looks sunny.
It is a sunny day. It is a sunny day, and I'm going to have to go out and get in it, I think.
Go and do a bit of exercise for the day or something. Have a little walk around.
Yeah, exactly.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
But lovely to talk to you guys.
Yeah,
thanks so much
great
for
to see you guys.
jumping on, man.
And hopefully chat again soon.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, wicked.
Lots of love.
Yeah, bye, dude. Take
Thanks,
care.
man.
See ya.
Right. You do it from there, don't you?
Well, thank you guys for tuning in.
Yeah.
We are now going to try and save this so people can watch it back.
How do you do that?
Well, I think we're going to have to end. So thank you very much, guys.
But wait, if you end it, do you lose the thing? If you said
Thanks, everyone. Have a great day.
No, I think it gives you a choice.
End.